You will hear steps that are simple to try and hard to ignore when you commit to them. The room may still be dark when you begin, or your phone may be flashing messages, but the very first choices of the day shape what follows. This audio guide offers clear practices you can use right away, from a short morning routine that builds confidence to straightforward ways to name emotions and choose better responses. It shows how to set realistic goals, review progress each week, and turn lessons from failure into faster recovery. You will find techniques to remove distractions and protect deep work, to design habits that require less willpower, and to move your body in ways that increase stamina and calm. There are direct ideas for earning more, saving smarter, and for creating simple checkpoints that keep you honest. Each chapter gives a short action you can start tomorrow and a measurable habit to track. If you want practical advice that treats growth as a skill rather than luck, stay with this program and practice what it asks you to do. The voice you hear here is a guide and a coach, but the work will be yours. Chapter 14: Build daily momentum through small tasks completed every morning. You wake up every morning to a silent truth that most people avoid. No one is coming to push you out of bed. No one is coming to organize your thoughts, repair your habits, or build your future. The world moves whether you act or not. Bills arrive. Time passes. Opportunities shift. Your life either grows stronger or weaker based on what you do in the first hours of the day. This is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to free you. When you accept that no one will help you, you stop waiting. When you stop waiting, you start building. Morning is where momentum begins. Not in grand speeches. Not in dramatic life changes. It begins in small, deliberate actions completed before the world distracts you. Momentum is not an emotion. It is a physical and mental state created by movement. A body in motion continues in motion. A mind that starts the day with action continues with action. When you complete even one simple task early in the morning, you send a clear message to yourself: I act, I move, I follow through. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their attention. They reach for their phone. They scroll through other people's lives. They absorb news, noise, and opinions before they have even chosen their own direction. Within minutes, their mind is scattered. Their energy is reactive. The day begins in defense instead of offense. This pattern weakens discipline. It teaches the brain that distraction comes before responsibility. A stronger path begins with a simple rule: earn your morning. Before you check messages, before you respond to anyone, before you consume information, complete one small task that improves your life. Make your bed with care. Drink a glass of water slowly. Step outside for fresh air. Write down 3 priorities for the day. These are not dramatic actions, but they build something powerful: self-trust. Self-trust is built through evidence. Every time you say you will do something and you do it, even if it is small, you strengthen your identity as someone reliable. When you ignore your own promises, you weaken that identity. Over time, this difference becomes enormous. People who do not trust themselves hesitate. They doubt their own goals. They start strong and quit quietly. People who build self-trust through small daily tasks become steady. They do not need motivation. They rely on discipline. Begin with a simple morning structure. Wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends. Consistency trains your body clock and sharpens your mind. When the alarm rings, stand up immediately. Do not negotiate. Negotiation weakens authority over yourself. Your mind will offer comfort and excuses. Notice them without emotion. Stand anyway. This is the first victory of the day. Go to the bathroom. Splash cold water on your face. Feel the shock. It wakes your senses and reminds you that discomfort is not danger. Drink water. After hours of sleep, your body is dehydrated. Water clears mental fog and signals renewal. Open a window or step outside for a few minutes. Breathe deeply. Slow, controlled breaths calm the nervous system and sharpen focus. Next, complete a physical task. It does not need to be intense. 10 push-ups, a short stretch routine, a brisk walk around your home. Movement tells your brain that the day has started. It increases blood flow and elevates alertness. More importantly, it reinforces action over passivity. You are not lying in bed hoping for energy. You are generating it. After movement, sit down with a notebook. Write 3 tasks that must be completed today. Not 10, not 23. Choose tasks that move your life forward, not just urgent demands from others. If you are studying, one task may be reviewing a chapter. If you are building a business, one task may be reaching out to a potential client. If you want better health, one task may be preparing a clean meal. Keep the list realistic but meaningful. This clarity prevents drifting. Many people feel overwhelmed because they try to carry the entire week in their head. The mind is not built for constant storage. It is built for direction. When you write tasks down, you reduce mental noise, you free energy for execution. This simple act each morning builds focus and reduces anxiety. The power of small tasks is often underestimated because they appear ordinary. Making your bed will not make you rich. Drinking water will not solve your career, but these tasks are not about immediate results. They are about identity formation. Every morning you are shaping the type of person you are becoming. Someone who ignores small responsibilities will eventually ignore larger ones. Someone who respects small responsibilities builds strength for bigger challenges. Momentum works like a chain. You complete your bed. That feels finished. You drink water. That feels clean. You move your body. That feels active. You write your tasks. That feels organized. Within 30 minutes, you have stacked 4 wins. Your mind begins to expect progress. The next task feels less heavy because you are already in motion. There will be mornings when you feel tired, stressed, or discouraged. Those mornings matter most. Discipline is proven when emotions are low. On those days, reduce the scale but keep the pattern. If you are exhausted, do 5 push-ups instead of 10. If your mind feels heavy, write 1 task instead of 3. The goal is continuity. Missing one day is not failure, but missing repeatedly creates a new identity. Protect the chain of action. Consider the emotional impact of starting strong. When you wake up and immediately act with purpose, your posture changes. Your breathing steadies. There is quiet confidence in knowing you have already made progress before most people have opened their eyes fully. This is not about comparison. It is about control. You are not chasing the day. You are directing it. Avoid the trap of waiting for inspiration. Inspiration is unstable. Some days it appears, many days it does not. Momentum does not require inspiration. It requires initiation. Start the smallest possible action. Open the book. Write 1 sentence. Tie your shoes. Action creates clarity. Clarity creates motivation. Motivation strengthens further action. You may think your life problems are too large for small tasks. Debt, career confusion, relationship stress. These are heavy realities. But they are not solved in a single morning. They are solved through repeated disciplined mornings. When you build daily momentum, you strengthen your capacity to handle stress. You become less reactive and more deliberate. You start seeing solutions instead of obstacles. One practical tool that strengthens morning momentum is preparation the night before. Lay out your workout clothes. Place your notebook on the desk. Fill a glass with water and leave it by your bed. Decide your first task before you sleep. When morning arrives, there is no confusion. You remove friction. Discipline grows when decisions are simplified. Sleep also matters. Going to bed at a consistent time protects your morning power. If you stay up scrolling or watching random content, your morning will suffer. Protect your sleep as if it is an investment, because it is. A rested mind is sharper and more resilient. Another powerful practice is limiting digital input during the first hour. Messages and social media pull you into other people's priorities. Your morning should belong to your growth. Set a boundary. Keep your phone on airplane mode until your core tasks are complete. This one decision can transform your focus. Notice how your emotions shift when you begin the day intentionally. Anxiety often decreases because you are not drifting. Guilt reduces because you are not procrastinating. Confidence increases because you are honoring your commitments. These emotional shifts compound over weeks and months. Track your mornings for 30 days. Use a simple calendar and mark each day you complete your routine. Visual progress builds pride. If you miss a day, do not punish yourself. Resume the next morning. The goal is not perfection. The goal is persistence. As you grow stronger, you can expand your morning tasks gradually. Add 10 minutes of reading. Study something useful. Reflect on one lesson from the previous day. Ask yourself one honest question such as, what can I improve today? Self-examination in the morning prepares you for wiser decisions later. Remember that small tasks are not separate from big dreams. They are the foundation. A strong building stands on repeated layers of simple bricks. Your life is the same. Each morning brick appears ordinary, but together they create stability. There is a quiet dignity in handling your own responsibilities. When you stop expecting rescue, you stop feeling disappointed. You understand that your growth depends on your effort. This mindset removes blame. It removes excuses. It replaces them with ownership. Ownership does not mean isolation. You can seek advice, learn from mentors, and collaborate with others. But the execution remains yours. No one can wake up for you. No one can breathe deeply for you. No one can complete your morning tasks. That is your ground to stand on. Over time, daily momentum creates a different relationship with difficulty. Problems still appear, but you face them with a trained mind. You are used to acting despite comfort. You are used to finishing what you start. This carries into work, relationships, and long-term goals. Imagine the cumulative effect after 1 year of disciplined mornings, 365 days of small completed tasks, hundreds of written priorities, countless moments of controlled breathing instead of panic, physical movement instead of stagnation. This is not dramatic. It is powerful. You may not see immediate applause. Most growth is invisible at first. But inside, your character is sharpening. Your identity is strengthening. You are becoming someone who moves first. There will be days when people around you do not understand your discipline. They may say you are too serious. They may prefer comfort. That is their choice. Your choice is to build a life you respect. Quiet consistency often looks boring to those who chase excitement. But in time, results speak without noise. Do not complicate this chapter. It is simple on purpose. Wake up, stand up immediately, drink water, move your body. Write 3 tasks. Complete the first one before checking your phone. Protect this sequence daily. Adjust the details to fit your life, but protect the principles. Small tasks create momentum. Each morning is a fresh beginning. Yesterday's mistakes do not control today unless you allow them. When you rise and act with intention, you declare independence from regret. You focus on what can be done now. No one will help you build daily momentum. No one feels the weight of your unrealized potential the way you do. That responsibility is heavy, but it is also empowering. You are not trapped waiting for permission. You are not dependent on perfect conditions. You have this morning. When the alarm rings tomorrow, remember this truth. The first action sets the tone. Do not argue with your own growth. Stand up. Take the first step. Complete the smallest task. Then complete the next. Momentum will follow. Over time, that momentum will transform your days, then your months, then your life. Your future is not shaped by rare bursts of effort. It is shaped by ordinary mornings handled with discipline. Begin there. Protect it fiercely. Build your life one completed morning at a time. Chapter 20: Master emotional control by naming feelings and choosing responses. Your emotions are powerful, but they are not commands. They are signals. They rise quickly, sometimes without warning, and they can push you toward words and actions that shape your future in seconds. Many people live as if emotions are orders that must be obeyed immediately. Anger appears, and they attack. Fear appears, and they retreat. Jealousy appears, and they compare. Sadness appears, and they withdraw. Over time, this habit builds a life directed by impulses instead of reason. If no one is coming to save you, then you must learn to govern yourself. Emotional control is not suppression. It is not pretending you feel nothing. It is the discipline of identifying what you feel and deciding how to respond in a way that serves your long-term values. This skill separates those who drift through chaos from those who build steady progress. The first step is naming the feeling. This sounds simple, but most people never practice it. They say, "I feel bad," or "I am stressed," without clarity. When you wake up irritated, pause and ask, what exactly is this? Is it frustration because a plan failed? Is it disappointment because someone ignored you? Is it fear because you doubt your ability? When you name the emotion precisely, you create distance from it. Instead of being anger, you are a person experiencing anger. That small shift restores control. Your brain reacts quickly to threats, even imagined ones. A short message with a cold tone can trigger anxiety. A colleague receiving praise can trigger insecurity. A mistake can trigger shame. The body responds with tension, faster breathing, tight muscles. If you do not slow down, you will react from that physical surge. Words spoken in this state often damage trust and reputation. Practice a simple rule: when emotion rises, pause your reaction. Do not send the message. Do not raise your voice. Do not make the decision. Step back physically if possible. Take 5 slow breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and release slowly. This is not a dramatic ritual. It is a practical reset. Slow breathing signals safety to your nervous system. It reduces the intensity of the emotional wave. After the pause, name the emotion in clear language. Say internally, I am feeling rejected. I am feeling embarrassed. I am feeling threatened. The act of labeling activates rational parts of the brain. It weakens the raw impulse to strike or escape. You become an observer instead of a victim of your feelings. Emotions often hide deeper needs. Anger may hide hurt. Jealousy may hide insecurity. Fear may hide lack of preparation. When you identify the true layer beneath the surface, you can respond wisely. If you feel insecure about someone's success, the solution is not resentment. The solution may be skill development or honest effort in your own path. If you feel anxious about a meeting, the solution may be preparation instead of avoidance. Emotional control also requires honesty. Denying what you feel does not make you strong. It makes you unaware. If you feel envy, admit it privately. If you feel lonely, acknowledge it. Strength grows from clarity, not denial. When you face your emotions directly, they lose their hidden power. One powerful daily exercise is emotional journaling. At the end of each day, write down one situation that triggered a strong reaction. Describe what happened. Describe what you felt. Then analyze how you responded. Was your response aligned with your long-term values? Did it improve the situation or make it worse? This practice trains reflection. Over time, you will notice patterns. Perhaps you overact when criticized. Perhaps you withdraw when challenged. Awareness allows adjustment. Another essential skill is separating facts from stories. An event happens. Your mind immediately creates an interpretation. For example, someone does not reply to your message. The fact is simple. There is no reply yet. The story might be, they do not respect me, or they are ignoring me on purpose. That story fuels anger or sadness. Challenge the story. Ask, what are other possible explanations? They may be busy. They may not have seen the message. By questioning your interpretation, you weaken emotional escalation. Control also grows from clear personal standards. Decide in advance how you want to behave under pressure. Do you value calm speech? Do you value fairness? Do you value patience? When you define these principles clearly, they become anchors during emotional storms. Instead of asking, what do I feel like doing, you ask, what kind of person do I choose to be right now? Consider how many relationships are damaged by uncontrolled reactions. A harsh sentence spoken in anger can remain in someone's memory for years. A reckless decision made out of fear can alter a career path. Emotional discipline protects your future. It preserves trust. It builds respect. This does not mean you never express strong feelings. Expression can be healthy when done intentionally. If you are upset, communicate it calmly. Say, I felt hurt when this happened. Avoid blaming language. Focus on your experience. This approach invites dialogue instead of conflict. It requires maturity, but it strengthens connections. There will be moments when emotions feel overwhelming. In those times, remove yourself from the trigger if possible. Take a short walk. Change your environment. Physical movement helps release tension stored in the body. Even washing your face with cool water can interrupt the intensity of the moment. Sleep, nutrition, and physical health influence emotional stability. When you are exhausted or hungry, your patience decreases. Your reactions become sharper. Protecting your physical well-being is part of mastering your emotions. A disciplined life supports a disciplined mind. Another useful technique is mental rehearsal. Imagine a situation that usually triggers you. Picture someone criticizing your work. Picture a delay in a project. Visualize yourself responding with calm, measured words. Rehearsal builds familiarity. When the real situation occurs, you are less surprised. You have already practiced your response. Forgiveness also plays a role in emotional freedom. Holding resentment keeps you trapped in past anger. It drains energy that could be used for growth. Forgiveness does not mean approving harmful behavior. It means releasing the emotional grip it has on you. Decide that your peace is more valuable than replaying old injuries. Emotional control does not remove pain from life. Loss, disappointment, and injustice will still occur. The difference is that you respond with steadiness instead of chaos. You allow yourself to feel sadness without collapsing. You allow yourself to feel fear without surrendering to it. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. The way you speak to yourself shapes emotional intensity. If you make a mistake and tell yourself, "I am useless," shame grows. If you say, "I made an error and I can correct it," the emotion shifts toward responsibility. Choose words that encourage correction, not self-destruction. There is strength in silence. Not every insult deserves a reply. Not every disagreement requires argument. Sometimes the most powerful response is calm non-reaction. Silence denies fuel to unnecessary conflict. It preserves your focus for meaningful work. Emotional mastery is a lifelong practice. You will fail at times. You will react poorly. When that happens, reflect without self-hatred. Apologize if necessary. Adjust your strategy. Growth comes from correction, not perfection. As you develop this discipline, you will notice changes. Decisions become clearer. Relationships become more stable. Stress decreases because you are not constantly fighting internal storms. You feel a quiet confidence knowing that even in chaos, you can choose your behavior. No one else can manage your emotions for you. Others may provoke, disappoint, or praise you, but the final choice of response is yours. This responsibility is demanding, but it is also empowering. When you realize that you are not controlled by every feeling that passes through you, you gain freedom. Each time you name an emotion, instead of being ruled by it, you strengthen your character. Each time you pause before reacting, you build authority over yourself. Each time you choose a response aligned with your principles, you shape a life of stability and respect. The world will always present triggers. Opinions will clash. Plans will fail. People will misunderstand you. Emotional storms are part of being human. Mastery does not mean eliminating storms. It means steering your ship steadily through them. Stand firm in this truth. Feelings are temporary visitors. Your values are lasting guides. Choose your response carefully. Protect your integrity. Govern yourself with calm awareness. In doing so, you build inner strength that no external chaos can easily shake. Chapter 30. Create a personal plan with clear goals and weekly reviews. A clear plan begins with a clear purpose and with the question of what a better version of your life will look like in 1 year and in 5 years. Start by writing a short paragraph that describes where you want to be and why that future matters to you. Keep it specific enough that you can picture it, but brief enough that it fits on a single page. When a goal is vivid and meaningful, it becomes easier to make steady choices toward it, instead of drifting through obligations that belong to other people. Break large aims into concrete outcomes you can measure. For each major objective, identify one clear result that would prove progress. If you want improved health, state an exact target, such as reducing resting heart rate by a specified amount or completing a specific number of workouts each week. If the aim is career-related, choose a measurable output, like finishing a project proposal, gaining a certification, or securing a set number of client conversations. Metrics remove vagueness and turn wishes into tasks. Separate outcomes from the daily actions that create them. Outcomes are the destination and actions are the steps on the map. List the small behaviors that logically cause the outcome you want. Eating a balanced meal, preparing lunch the night before, and walking 30 minutes 3 times a week are steps that lead to improved health. Reaching out to 2 potential clients every Monday and refining your pitch is a process that leads to business growth. Focus attention on consistent actions, not occasional bursts of intensity. Use a time-layered plan that connects long-term goals to weekly commitments. Take each outcome and assign realistic milestones for the next 12 months. From those milestones, pick priorities for every 90 days. From the 90-day goals, extract monthly targets. From monthly targets, choose 1 to 3 weekly tasks that propel you forward. This structure keeps long-term vision alive while forcing decisions about what truly matters right now. Design a daily schedule that protects the few hours each day when you are most productive. Block this time for the tasks that directly move your key goals. Treat these blocks like appointments with yourself and defend them from interruptions. Email and social media are time sinks when left unattended, so combine focused work sessions with short breaks and check communication only at scheduled intervals. Scheduling is not rigidity for its own sake, but a tool to create predictable progress. Record progress with simple tracking systems. A notebook or a single sheet of paper that lists weekly commitments and the results at the end of each week works better than complex apps that become clutter. For each weekly priority, note whether it was completed fully, partially, or not at all, and why. Small, honest notes reveal patterns that guide improvement. Over time, these entries form an empirical record of what actually produces results in your life. Create guardrails against overcommitment. Ambition without boundaries leads to shallow progress in many directions and exhaustion. Use the rule of 3 each week. Choose 3 meaningful priorities and allocate most of your available, focused time to them. Allow smaller tasks to be handled in secondary time slots so the most important work receives adequate depth and energy. Boundaries protect the long view from daily urgencies. Build accountability into the plan. Share your weekly goals with one trusted person or join a group that offers regular check-ins. Accountability changes the psychology of commitment because other people's expectations add friction to quitting. If external accountability is not available, set public commitments on a small scale, such as posting your weekly focus to a personal blog or to a trusted friend. The goal is to create structures that make follow-through more likely. Implement a weekly review ritual that is brief, consistent, and honest. Block 30 to 45 minutes each week and use this simple formula. First, list wins from the past week, including completed tasks and external progress. Celebrate what worked without overstating it. Second, list failures and missed commitments and write the primary reason for each miss. Third, extract one lesson from those misses that you can systemically change. Fourth, set 3 priorities for the next week that directly respond to the lessons and to the long-term plan. Finally, note 1 gratitude or positive detail that grounds you in purpose. Refine goals by testing assumptions through short experiments. Treat your plan as a series of hypotheses rather than fixed destiny. If you believe contacting 5 potential clients each week will generate leads, try it for 4 weeks and measure results. If evenings spent studying are not yielding retention, adjust the study length or try morning study instead. Small experiments reduce risk and increase learning speed because they force specific measurement and timely adaptation. Design contingency buffers into your schedule and into your expectations. Life has variability and emergencies will arise. Reserve time each week for recovery and for addressing unexpected issues. Financial buffers and emergency plans reduce the stress that otherwise sabotages long-term goals. Planning for interruptions is not pessimism. It is practical foresight that preserves momentum. Translate goals into habits that automate decision-making. Focus on ritualizing the beginning of each important task. If writing is essential, design a ritual that prepares you mentally and physically to write at the same time each day. Routines eliminate the constant friction of deciding to start. Once a habit is established, it reduces the mental energy needed to perform the behavior and increases the likelihood of consistency. Keep your plan visible and simple. A single page with your core purpose, yearly goals, 90-day priorities, and current weekly tasks is enough. Complexity invites procrastination. Visibility means the plan is placed where you will see it daily, such as on a desk or taped to a wall near your workspace. Frequent exposure keeps decisions aligned with the stated priorities without requiring repeated deliberation. Use decision rules to handle common obstacles. Predefine how you will respond to interruptions or to opportunities that look attractive but are outside your plan. A helpful rule might be that any new commitment must pass a 5-minute test where you assess alignment with current priorities and the time cost. These rules prevent mission creep and protect precious focus. Measure progress quantitatively where possible and qualitatively where necessary. Numbers give clarity, but meaning and motivation also comes from qualitative reflection about quality of work and personal growth. Each week record one qualitative note about how the work felt and what personal changes are occurring in your attention or resilience. Combining objective measures with subjective insights creates a fuller picture of progress. Maintain a balance between persistence and revision. Persistence is required to see results because many worthwhile goals require time and repeated effort. Simultaneously, stay willing to revise methods that are not working. If something consistently fails the test of producing results, after repeated honest attempts, change the approach and document the reasoning. Flexibility without abandonment is the operative stance. Allocate time each month to learn deliberately in areas that feed your goals. Invest with small, focused learning blocks, such as reading one short book relevant to your aims, completing an online course module, or practicing a new technique. Learning fuels better actions and prevents stagnation. Pair learning with immediate application so knowledge converts into skill quickly. Set milestones that trigger celebration and review. When you reach a milestone, take a moment to acknowledge the effort and then use the occasion to review the plan with fresh eyes. Milestones mark progress and reset motivation. Celebrations are not indulgent breaks from discipline. They are signals that reinforce positive behavior and sustain long-term engagement. Guard against perfectionism by favoring progress over polish in early stages. Early iterations should be released and refined rather than delayed waiting for an impossible ideal. Early work generates feedback that improves the final result far faster than delayed perfectionism. Ship early, adjust quickly, and keep moving. Communicate the plan to important partners in your life and negotiate support. Explain the weekly rhythms and why certain times are protected. Mutual understanding reduces conflict and allows others to coordinate with you. When people understand your priorities, they can help rather than interfere. Document key decisions and the reasons behind them. A short log of strategic choices and the assumptions under which they were made becomes invaluable when conditions change. The log prevents repeating past mistakes and accelerates the learning curve when revisiting old decisions. Finally, be patient with the pace of meaningful change and relentless about daily consistency. Long-term results compound quietly and only become visible after many small disciplined actions. Commit to the process, not to instant outcomes. Over weeks and months, the plan you implement and the weekly reviews you keep will converge into measurable improvements in skill, health, finances, and relationships. This is how durable change is built and maintained. Chapter 4: Own your failures, fast learn lessons and move forward. Failure is not a verdict, it is information about what needs changing and how to change it. When something goes wrong, the fastest path to recovery begins with a simple decision to stop defending and start learning. Denial and excuse delay improvement. Admitting error quickly creates space to fix what is broken and to protect whatever is still salvageable. This is not about shame. It is a practical method for preserving momentum and for building competence. The first action after a setback is to state clearly what happened in 1 or 2 sentences. Describe observable facts without commentary or justification. Who did what, when, and what was the outcome? Keep the description objective and brief. This reduces the fog of emotion and creates a reliable record you can review later. Facts are useful because they can be tested and they point directly to where to apply correction. Next, explain your role in plain language. This is where ownership matters. Say what decision you made or what you failed to do that contributed to the result. Avoid vague confessions that hide responsibility, such as "maybe it was my fault." Instead, write a crisp statement like "I missed the deadline because I underestimated the research required," or "I delegated the task without clear instructions." Specific admissions guide specific fixes. After naming the contribution, identify the earliest decision or assumption that produced the error. Work backward from the outcome to the first choice that set the chain in motion. Often the real root cause is a belief such as this task will be easy or I can handle this without help. Exposing these assumptions lets you change them before repeating the same mistake. Replace faulty assumptions with testable alternatives and schedule small experiments to validate them. Use a short post-mortem template for every meaningful failure. Begin with facts, then list 3 immediate observations about what went wrong. For each observation, write 1 corrective action that is small, specific, and time-bound. Assign the action to yourself with a deadline. Micro-commitments are easier to keep, and they rebuild credibility faster than vague promises. Complete these corrective steps as quickly as possible to regain control. Make apologies when your actions hurt others and do it without adding excuses. A solid apology is clear, direct, and focused on the harmed person, not on your discomfort. Say what you did wrong, name the impact, and state the corrective step you will take. This sequence repairs trust because it moves from statement to solution rather than lingering in defensiveness. Follow through on the corrective step and inform the person when it is completed. Emotions will push to either hide or to lash out. Resist both impulses by implementing a short cooling period before you speak or send messages. Use that time to write down the facts and your learning points. When you respond, rely on the facts and the corrective actions rather than the heat of the moment. Communicating from a plan calms other people and demonstrates reliability even under stress. Turn failures into experiments by converting regret into measurable trials. If a marketing idea crashed, convert the attempts into hypotheses, such as changing the headline will improve click rate by X%. Run controlled tests and collect data quickly. Experiments keep pride out of the equation because the point becomes learning, not being right. This mindset reduces fear of failure because every outcome yields useful feedback. Document lessons in a centralized place that you actually consult. A few concise lines per incident are enough: the situation, the root cause, the corrective action, and 1 sentence about how to avoid it in the future. Reviewing these notes monthly prevents identical mistakes and accelerates personal growth. The page becomes a living manual of hard-won experience that saves you time and energy later. Build systems that make repeated failure less likely. Too often mistakes repeat because the system lets them. If deadlines are missed, create process checkpoints such as mid-project reviews or mandatory status updates. If tasks are delegated poorly, add a quick checklist that the delegatee must confirm. Small structural changes reduce dependency on willpower and make reliable performance more automatic. Cultivate humility paired with decisive action. Humility keeps you open to the truth that you do not know everything and that better approaches exist. Decisive action translates that humility into forward motion. Avoid indefinite analysis because overthinking becomes a form of avoidance. Decide on a sensible correction and implement it within a short window so learning happens in practice, not only in theory. Use metrics to track whether your corrective steps work. Define 1 or 2 indicators that will reveal progress and measure them clearly. If the issue was missed deadlines, track on-time completion rates for the next quarter. If communication failed, monitor the number of clarifying questions from teammates after meetings. Numbers show whether your changes are real and help you adjust faster when they are not. Protect your identity from failure by separating who you are from what you do. Mistakes do not make someone worthless. This separation preserves self-respect and prevents paralysis. Frame setbacks as temporary errors in a process, not as reflections of intrinsic worth. That framing keeps energy available for problem solving and for the practical steps necessary to recover. Learn to choose fast recovery over immediate vindication. Reaching for proof that you were right before you fix the problem wastes time and erodes relationships. When a project falters, act first to stop the damage, then collect evidence and refine your case if needed. When people see responsible action coupled with data, your credibility rises, even if you were initially mistaken. Invite feedback intentionally and make it safe for others to speak. Create a short routine after any collaborative work where teammates can point out concerns without judgment. Ask precise questions like, what would you change if you did this again, and what was unclear in our plan? Real feedback often arrives in small useful details that prevent future errors. Practice mental reframing to extract value quickly from mistakes. Ask 3 questions after every failure. What did I not know? What assumption failed? And what small change would prevent this next time? These focused queries turn regret into an actionable checklist and keep emotion from hijacking recovery. Allow time for repair when stakes are high. Some errors require sustained effort to fully correct, especially those that damaged relationships or reputation. Map out a repair plan with milestones and public updates if appropriate. Consistent visible progress rebuilds trust more effectively than one-time grand gestures. Keep a bias towards simplicity in corrections. Overly complex solutions often introduce new failure modes. Aim for the least complex change that addresses the root cause and implement it quickly. Complexity can be added later when the basic fix proves insufficient. Watch for repeating patterns and escalate when needed. If the same type of error reappears despite your efforts, create stronger controls or seek external help. Sometimes patterns indicate a limiting skill or a systemic problem beyond your current capability. Bringing in a mentor or a different perspective can break entrenched cycles faster than solitary effort. Use a public commitment sparingly as a lever to ensure follow-through on critical corrections. When a particular change is essential, share your plan with someone who will hold you accountable and check progress publicly. Social expectation increases the cost of backsliding and often provides the extra push needed to embed new behaviors. Protect your mental energy during recovery by scheduling focused work windows for fixes and defined breaks to avoid burnout. Repair tasks can require intense concentration and follow-up. Balance diligence with rest so progress is sustainable. Short, deliberate breaks improve clarity and the quality of decisions. Celebrate small recoveries. When a corrective action produces measurable improvement, acknowledge that progress privately and, if appropriate, share it with those affected. Recognition of incremental wins sustains motivation during longer repair efforts and prevents discouragement. Finally, cultivate the habit of returning to baseline quickly. Life will include setbacks, and how fast you re-engage matters more than how hard you fall. Make swift factual assessment your default response and move into correction mode. Over time, this reflex of fast ownership and deliberate repair becomes a strategic advantage because it concentrates your energy on growth rather than blame. Owning mistakes is not a single act, it is a practiced routine that combines honesty, analysis, small corrective steps, and consistent follow-through. The faster you take responsibility, the sooner you can learn, and the sooner you can move forward more effectively. This cycle, repeated across projects and relationships, builds a reputation for reliability and creates the steady progress that triumphs over occasional brilliance. Chapter 50. Develop ruthless focus by removing distractions and scheduling work. Focus is not a talent you are born with. It is a decision repeated daily. In a world designed to fracture your attention, the ability to concentrate deeply has become rare. Notifications compete for your eyes. Conversations interrupt your thoughts. Endless content tempts you with easy stimulation. If you do not take control of your attention, something else will. And once your focus is scattered, your progress slows, your confidence weakens, and your goals begin to feel distant. Ruthless focus begins with clarity. You cannot concentrate on everything. You must choose what deserves your energy. Each week, decide the 1 or 2 outcomes that matter most. Not 10, not 5, 1 or 2. These become your primary targets. Everything else is secondary. When priorities are vague, distractions win. When priorities are defined, choices become simpler. After identifying your main objective, schedule time to work on it before anything else claims your day. Do not rely on leftover time. Leftover time rarely exists. Place your most important work into your calendar as a fixed appointment. Treat it with the same seriousness as a meeting with someone you respect. When the scheduled time arrives, begin immediately. Do not wait for the perfect mood. Your environment shapes your focus more than your willpower does. Look around your workspace. Is it cluttered? Is your phone within reach? Are multiple tabs open on your screen? Each visible object is a silent request for attention. Remove anything unrelated to your current task. Clear your desk. Close unnecessary programs. Put your phone in another room or switch it to airplane mode. Make distraction inconvenient. Silence is a powerful ally. Background noise drains mental energy even when you think you are used to it. If possible, work in a quiet space. If not, use simple earplugs or neutral sound to reduce interruptions. Protect your mind from unnecessary input. Your attention is a limited resource. Guard it. Many people struggle with focus because they underestimate how long meaningful work requires. Deep concentration takes time to build. The first 10 minutes are often uncomfortable. Your mind searches for easier stimulation. Resist the urge to escape. Stay seated. Stay present. After 20 to 30 minutes, your brain begins to settle. Clarity increases. Ideas connect more easily. This is the state where real progress happens. Use structured work intervals to train your focus. Set a timer for a specific period, such as 45 or 60 minutes. During that time, commit fully to one task. No checking messages, no switching activities. When the timer ends, take a short break. Stand up, stretch, breathe deeply, then return for another focused session. This rhythm balances intensity with recovery and prevents burnout. Distraction often hides as false productivity. You may answer emails, organize files, or adjust formatting while avoiding the core task that truly matters. Ask yourself regularly, is this activity directly advancing my main goal? If the answer is no, postpone it. Focus demands honesty about what is essential and what is convenient. Your mind will produce resistance when you attempt sustained concentration. Thoughts such as "this is too hard" or "I will do it later" will appear. Observe them without reacting. They are temporary impulses, not instructions. Return to the task. Each time you redirect your attention, you strengthen your mental discipline. Energy management is as important as time management. Identify when your mind feels sharpest during the day. Some people think clearly in the early morning. Others perform better in the late afternoon. Schedule demanding tasks during these peak periods. Save routine activities for lower energy times. Aligning work with natural rhythms increases output without increasing stress. Limit the number of goals you pursue simultaneously. Divided ambition weakens execution. When you chase too many targets, each receives shallow effort. Progress requires depth. Depth requires sustained attention. Choose fewer objectives and commit fully. Digital consumption is one of the greatest threats to focus. Social media platforms are designed to capture and hold attention. Scrolling may feel relaxing, but it fragments concentration and trains the brain to seek constant novelty. Set strict boundaries. Decide specific times for checking social platforms and adhere to them. Avoid random browsing during work hours. Each unnecessary scroll weakens your ability to stay present. Learn to say no without guilt. Every request for your time is a trade. When you accept tasks that do not align with your priorities, you reduce time available for meaningful work. Decline politely but firmly when necessary. Protecting your focus is not selfish, it is responsible. Physical posture influences mental clarity. Sit upright. Keep your breathing steady. Avoid working while lying down or slouching. Your body communicates signals to your brain. Alert posture encourages alert thinking. Simple adjustments in position can improve endurance during long sessions of concentration. Break large projects into defined steps before beginning. Vague tasks invite procrastination. Instead of writing a report, define the first step, such as outlining 3 key sections. Instead of building a business, define the immediate action, such as drafting a service description. Specific starting points reduce hesitation and help you enter a state of flow more quickly. Track your focused hours. At the end of each day, record how many hours were spent in uninterrupted work on primary goals. This simple measurement reveals patterns. If you consistently achieve 2 focused hours, aim for 3. Gradual improvement builds confidence. Avoid multitasking. It creates the illusion of efficiency but reduces quality and increases errors. The brain performs best when dedicated to one cognitive demand at a time. Complete one task fully before shifting to another. This habit improves speed over time because fewer mistakes require correction. Manage interruptions with clear boundaries. Inform those around you of your focused periods. Use visible signals if necessary, such as a closed door or a sign. Respect others' focus as well. Mutual discipline creates a supportive environment. Sleep and nutrition directly affect concentration. Inadequate rest leads to scattered thinking. Balanced meals stabilize energy. Avoid heavy meals before deep work sessions as they can induce sluggishness. Care for your body to support your mind. Practice deliberate reflection at the end of each week. Assess what distracted you most. Identify specific triggers. Was it boredom, fatigue, or external noise? Design adjustments based on these observations. Improvement requires adaptation. When you feel overwhelmed by a task, narrow your attention to the next small action. Instead of thinking about the entire project, focus only on completing the current paragraph or solving the immediate problem. Large goals are accomplished through attention to immediate steps. Celebrate focused effort, not just outcomes. Even if results are delayed, acknowledge the discipline required to maintain concentration. This reinforces the identity of someone who honors commitments. There will be days when focus feels difficult. External pressures may rise. Internal doubts may surface. During these times, return to structure. Follow your scheduled blocks. Reduce optional activities. Simplify decisions. Structure carries you when motivation fades. Over time, ruthless focus becomes a habit rather than a struggle. You begin to enter deep work states more easily. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Productivity increases without chaos. You experience a calm sense of control because your time aligns with your priorities. No one else will remove distractions from your life. No one else will schedule your meaningful work. This responsibility belongs to you. When you choose to protect your attention, you take ownership of your progress. When you schedule your work deliberately and defend it consistently, you transform scattered effort into sustained achievement. Your attention determines the quality of your life. Where it goes, your energy flows. Direct it with intention. Remove what weakens it. Schedule what strengthens it. Over months and years, disciplined focus compounds into skill, reputation, and freedom. Chapter 6c. Design daily habits that compound progress and reduce friction. Your life is shaped less by dramatic decisions and more by repeated behaviors. What you do once matters far less than what you do every day. A single workout changes little. A single hour of study barely moves the needle. But small actions performed consistently reshape your skills, your health, your finances, and your character. The power lies in compounding. When effort is repeated without interruption, results begin to build on themselves. Habits are the mechanism behind this compounding effect. They remove the need for constant decision-making. When a behavior becomes automatic, it no longer drains mental energy. You simply do it because it is part of your routine. This frees your attention for higher-level thinking and reduces the friction that often blocks progress. Friction is anything that makes a positive action harder to start. It can be physical, such as clutter or distance. It can be mental, such as uncertainty or overwhelm. It can be emotional, such as fear or doubt. If you want to build habits that last, you must lower friction for the behaviors you want and increase friction for the behaviors you want to avoid. Begin by identifying one area of your life that would improve significantly with steady action. Do not attempt to change everything at once. Choose a single focus such as physical health, professional growth, or financial stability. Within that area, define one daily habit that directly supports improvement. Make it small enough that it feels manageable even on difficult days. For example, if you want to improve your health, commit to 20 minutes of movement each day. If your goal is intellectual growth, commit to reading 10 pages daily. If financial strength is your priority, commit to tracking expenses each evening. These actions may seem modest, but their consistency creates momentum. Place the habit at a fixed time in your daily schedule. Random timing weakens commitment. When a behavior has a designated place, it becomes part of your rhythm. Attach it to an existing routine. After brushing your teeth, stretch. After dinner, review expenses. Linking habits to established behaviors reduces mental resistance. Prepare your environment in advance. If you plan to exercise in the morning, lay out your clothes the night before. If you intend to read, keep a book visible on your desk instead of hidden on a shelf. The easier it is to begin, the more likely you are to follow through. Remove obstacles before they appear. Avoid relying on motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Habits endure. Design your commitment so that even on low-energy days you can maintain the pattern. If 20 minutes feels overwhelming, allow yourself a minimum of 5. Protecting consistency is more important than intensity. Once you begin, you may choose to continue beyond the minimum, but the rule ensures you never skip entirely. Track your habits with a simple visual system. Mark each day you complete the behavior on a calendar. Seeing a chain of completed days builds pride and encourages continuation. If you miss a day, do not allow it to become 2. Resume immediately. Compounding works in both directions. Repeated action builds strength. Repeated neglect builds weakness. Reduce decision fatigue by standardizing small choices. Eat similar healthy breakfasts. Wear simple outfits for work. Use a consistent morning routine. When minor decisions are automated, mental energy is preserved for meaningful challenges. Friction decreases because fewer choices compete for attention. Another powerful method is habit stacking. Pair a new habit with an existing one. If you already drink coffee each morning, use that time to review your daily priorities. If you commute to work, listen to educational material during the drive. Stacking creates efficiency and increases the likelihood that the new behavior will stick. Be honest about negative habits that quietly undermine progress. Excessive screen time, late-night distractions, or impulsive spending can erode gains. Increase friction for these behaviors. Remove unnecessary apps from your phone. Set spending limits. Establish a fixed bedtime. Make harmful actions slightly inconvenient so that positive habits have room to grow. Compounding also requires patience. Results from daily habits are often invisible at first. Weeks may pass with little noticeable change. This period tests discipline. Trust the process. Improvement is often subtle until a threshold is reached. Suddenly, the accumulation becomes visible. Strength improves. Knowledge deepens. Savings grow. Evaluate your habits monthly. Ask whether each one still aligns with your goals. Some habits may need adjustment. Increase intensity gradually once consistency is stable. If you have exercised 20 minutes daily for a month, extend to 30. Growth should be progressive, not rushed. Protect your habits during stressful periods. Stress often triggers regression to old patterns. During such times, reduce the scale but maintain the behavior. If you cannot complete a full session, complete a shortened version. Stability during difficulty strengthens resilience. Accountability can reinforce consistency. Share your commitment with someone who values discipline. Report progress weekly. External awareness increases responsibility. Even a simple message confirming completion adds weight to your promise. Reward consistency thoughtfully. Choose rewards that reinforce your values rather than contradict them. After a month of disciplined study, allow yourself a meaningful purchase related to your growth. Positive reinforcement strengthens neural pathways associated with the habit. Understand that identity drives long-term behavior. Instead of saying you are trying to exercise, say you are becoming someone who trains daily. Instead of saying you are attempting to save money, say you are becoming financially responsible. Identity-based thinking changes actions at the root level. Each completed habit becomes evidence supporting your new identity. Minimize exposure to environments that encourage opposite behaviors. If your social circle promotes unhealthy routines, limit time spent in those settings. Surround yourself with people who respect growth. Environment influences habits more than intention alone. Build recovery into your system. Rest days are not signs of weakness. They allow your body and mind to adapt. Schedule recovery intentionally rather than drifting into it through exhaustion. Balanced discipline sustains progress longer than extreme effort. Document small wins in a journal. Write brief notes about improvements you notice. Increased stamina, better concentration, reduced stress. These observations reinforce commitment because they connect daily actions with real outcomes. Avoid comparing your habits to others. Focus on personal improvement. Your starting point is unique. Compounding works relative to where you began. Measure growth against your past self, not against external standards. Habits should simplify life, not complicate it. If a routine becomes overly complex, streamline it. Simplicity increases durability. Durable habits survive changes in schedule and environment. Remember that friction can also exist internally. Doubt and negative self-talk often slow progress. Counter these thoughts with evidence of your consistency. Review your calendar of completed days. Remind yourself of past successes. Confidence grows from proof. There will be setbacks. Illness, travel, or unexpected events may interrupt routines. Resume immediately without self-criticism. The goal is not perfection. The goal is sustained upward movement over time. As months pass, you will notice that certain actions no longer require effort. They become part of who you are. This is the power of design. You engineered your environment and schedule to support growth rather than relying on fleeting motivation. No one else can build these systems for you. No one else can perform your daily actions. When you design habits that reduce friction and encourage consistency, you take control of your trajectory. Each small action becomes a brick in the structure of your future. Compounding does not announce itself loudly. It works quietly in the background, day after day, action after action, until one day you look back and realize how far you have come. That distance was not created by sudden change. It was built by deliberate habits practiced with patience and discipline. Chapter 70. Train your body with consistent movement to fuel resilience. Your life is shaped less by dramatic decisions and more by repeated behaviors. What you do once matters far less than what you do every day. A single workout changes little. A single hour of study barely moves the needle. But small actions performed consistently reshape your skills, your health, your finances, and your character. The power lies in compounding. When effort is repeated without interruption, results begin to build on themselves. Habits are the mechanism behind this compounding effect. They remove the need for constant decision-making. When a behavior becomes automatic, it no longer drains mental energy. You simply do it because it is part of your routine. This frees your attention for higher-level thinking and reduces the friction that often blocks progress. Friction is anything that makes a positive action harder to start. It can be physical, such as clutter or distance. It can be mental, such as uncertainty or overwhelm. It can be emotional, such as fear or doubt. If you want to build habits that last, you must lower friction for the behaviors you want and increase friction for the behaviors you want to avoid. Begin by identifying one area of your life that would improve significantly with steady action. Do not attempt to change everything at once. Choose a single focus such as physical health, professional growth, or financial stability. Within that area, define one daily habit that directly supports improvement. Make it small enough that it feels manageable even on difficult days. For example, if you want to improve your health, commit to 20 minutes of movement each day. If your goal is intellectual growth, commit to reading 10 pages daily. If financial strength is your priority, commit to tracking expenses each evening. These actions may seem modest, but their consistency creates momentum. Place the habit at a fixed time in your daily schedule. Random timing weakens commitment. When a behavior has a designated place, it becomes part of your rhythm. Attach it to an existing routine. After brushing your teeth, stretch. After dinner, review expenses. Linking habits to established behaviors reduces mental resistance. Prepare your environment in advance. If you plan to exercise in the morning, lay out your clothes the night before. If you intend to read, keep a book visible on your desk instead of hidden on a shelf. The easier it is to begin, the more likely you are to follow through. Remove obstacles before they appear. Avoid relying on motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Habits endure. Design your commitment so that even on low-energy days you can maintain the pattern. If 20 minutes feels overwhelming, allow yourself a minimum of 5. Protecting consistency is more important than intensity. Once you begin, you may choose to continue beyond the minimum, but the rule ensures you never skip entirely. Track your habits with a simple visual system. Mark each day you complete the behavior on a calendar. Seeing a chain of completed days builds pride and encourages continuation. If you miss a day, do not allow it to become 2. Resume immediately. Compounding works in both directions. Repeated action builds strength. Repeated neglect builds weakness. Reduce decision fatigue by standardizing small choices. Eat similar healthy breakfasts. Wear simple outfits for work. Use a consistent morning routine. When minor decisions are automated, mental energy is preserved for meaningful challenges. Friction decreases because fewer choices compete for attention. Another powerful method is habit stacking. Pair a new habit with an existing one. If you already drink coffee each morning, use that time to review your daily priorities. If you commute to work, listen to educational material during the drive. Stacking creates efficiency and increases the likelihood that the new behavior will stick. Be honest about negative habits that quietly undermine progress. Excessive screen time, late-night distractions, or impulsive spending can erode gains. Increase friction for these behaviors. Remove unnecessary apps from your phone. Set spending limits. Establish a fixed bedtime. Make harmful actions slightly inconvenient so that positive habits have room to grow. Compounding also requires patience. Results from daily habits are often invisible at first. Weeks may pass with little noticeable change. This period tests discipline. Trust the process. Improvement is often subtle until a threshold is reached. Suddenly the accumulation becomes visible. Strength improves, knowledge deepens, savings grow. Evaluate your habits monthly. Ask whether each one still aligns with your goals. Some habits may need adjustment. Increase intensity gradually once consistency is stable. If you have exercised 20 minutes daily for a month, extend to 30. Growth should be progressive, not rushed. Protect your habits during stressful periods. Stress often triggers regression to old patterns. During such times, reduce the scale but maintain the behavior. If you cannot complete a full session, complete a shortened version. Stability during difficulty strengthens resilience. Accountability can reinforce consistency. Share your commitment with someone who values discipline. Report progress weekly. External awareness increases responsibility. Even a simple message confirming completion adds weight to your promise. Reward consistency thoughtfully. Choose rewards that reinforce your values rather than contradict them. After a month of disciplined study, allow yourself a meaningful purchase related to your growth. Positive reinforcement strengthens neural pathways associated with the habit. Understand that identity drives long-term behavior. Instead of saying you are trying to exercise, say you are becoming someone who trains daily. Instead of saying you are attempting to save money, say you are becoming financially responsible. Identity-based thinking changes actions at the root level. Each completed habit becomes evidence supporting your new identity. Minimize exposure to environments that encourage opposite behaviors. If your social circle promotes unhealthy routines, limit time spent in those settings. Surround yourself with people who respect growth. Environment influences habits more than intention alone. Build recovery into your system. Rest days are not signs of weakness. They allow your body and mind to adapt. Schedule recovery intentionally rather than drifting into it through exhaustion. Balanced discipline sustains progress longer than extreme effort. Document small wins in a journal. Write brief notes about improvements you notice. Increased stamina, better concentration, reduced stress. These observations reinforce commitment because they connect daily actions with real outcomes. Avoid comparing your habits to others. Focus on personal improvement. Your starting point is unique. Compounding works relative to where you began. Measure growth against your past self, not against external standards. Habits should simplify life, not complicate it. If a routine becomes overly complex, streamline it. Simplicity increases durability. Durable habits survive changes in schedule and environment. Remember that friction can also exist internally. Doubt and negative self-talk often slow progress. Counter these thoughts with evidence of your consistency. Review your calendar of completed days. Remind yourself of past successes. Confidence grows from proof. There will be setbacks. Illness, travel, or unexpected events may interrupt routines. Resume immediately without self-criticism. The goal is not perfection. The goal is sustained upward movement over time. As months pass, you will notice that certain actions no longer require effort. They become part of who you are. This is the power of design. You engineered your environment and schedule to support growth rather than relying on fleeting motivation. No one else can build these systems for you. No one else can perform your daily actions. When you design habits that reduce friction and encourage consistency, you take control of your trajectory. Each small action becomes a brick in the structure of your future. Compounding does not announce itself loudly. It works quietly in the background, day after day, action after action, until one day you look back and realize how far you have come. That distance was not created by sudden change. It was built by deliberate habits practiced with patience and discipline. Chapter 80. Choose uncomfortable growth opportunities and practice them every week. Movement is the foundation of endurance because the body and mind are intertwined, and both grow stronger through regular physical challenge. When movement is consistent, the nervous system becomes more stable, sleep improves, digestion, sharpness of thought increases, and emotional regulation becomes easier. Training the body is not about chasing an ideal image. It is about building a reliable engine that carries you through stress, fatigue, and unexpected demands. Start with the understanding that small regular actions compound into durable physical capacity, and that resilience in life is built one step, squat and breath at a time. Begin by choosing a form of movement that fits your life and that you can perform with some pleasure. If running feels unbearable, then choose brisk walking. If you do not enjoy gyms, then find a simple bodyweight routine that can be done at home. The best exercise is the one you will do tomorrow and the day after that. Preference matters because consistency matters more than intensity initially. Commit to a minimum effective dose that you can maintain even on difficult days. Design a weekly plan with clear but modest targets. For most people, 3 sessions of moderate movement and 2 shorter mobility or recovery sessions create steady progress without overwhelming the schedule. The 3 main sessions might include 2 strength-focused workouts and 1 longer cardiovascular effort. Strength provides structural resilience and cardio builds endurance. Mobility work preserves range of motion and reduces injury risk. Keep the plan simple so that it is easy to follow and adjust as life changes. Warm up deliberately before each session. Warming up is not optional because it prepares the body and mind to perform and reduces the chance of setbacks. 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic movement that raises heart rate and activates key muscles is enough. Spend a few moments tuning in to how your body feels in the current session. Notice tight areas and adjust the warm-up accordingly. This small attention pays off by preventing niggles from becoming persistent problems. Prioritize compound movements when you can because they train multiple muscle groups and produce functional strength that matters in everyday life. Squats, lifting movements, pushing and pulling actions mimic the tasks you perform outside the gym, and they deliver the greatest return on time invested. If equipment is limited, use loaded carries, bodyweight rows, and carefully progressed variations to keep strength advancing. Functional strength increases confidence because daily tasks become easier. Use progressive overload as a guiding principle. Progress need not be dramatic. Add 1 additional repetition a week, increase load slightly, or add a few more minutes of cardio gradually. These small increases keep the body adapting without creating unnecessary risk. Track the progression so you can see practical evidence of improvement. Records remove the fog of doubt and motivate continuation when visible gains appear. Pay attention to form more than ego. Moving with control and correct joint alignment reduces wear and tear and builds long-term capacity. When learning a new exercise, slow the motion until the pattern is reliable. Controlled movement teaches muscle recruitment and prevents compensatory habits that cause pain later. If uncertain, consult trusted instructional resources or a coach for a brief session to set fundamentals right. Recovery is training too. Quality sleep, adequate protein, hydration, and simple strategies like active recovery walks or contrast showers support adaptation. Rest days do not signal weakness. They are essential windows where the body converts work into strength. Respect these periods by avoiding high-intensity work on recovery days and by prioritizing sleep, hygiene, and nutrition that supports repair. Nutrition need not be complicated. Aim to support performance with regular protein intake, vegetables, and sensible portions of carbohydrates and fats timed around training sessions. Small practical moves like preparing simple balanced meals in advance and keeping hydration visible reduce decision friction and make consistent fueling easier. When energy is steady, workouts become more productive and mood stabilizes, which sustains discipline. Habits that support movement are as important as the workouts themselves. Lay out training clothes the night before. Park further from the entrance to add steps. Take stairs when feasible. These micro decisions accumulate. Design an environment that nudges movement into daily life rather than relying solely on scheduled sessions. When movement becomes part of daily rhythm, resilience grows even when structured workouts are missed. Use breathing intentionally during effort and throughout the day, because breath links physiology to emotion. Practice controlled inhalations and slow exhalations during exertion to support performance and reduce tension. Outside workouts adopt a simple ritual of a few deep diaphragmatic breaths before stressful tasks. This practice lowers reactivity and steadies focus under pressure. Track simple objective measures to monitor progress and health. Basic metrics such as a weekly total of active minutes, number of strength sessions, sleep hours, and subjective energy ratings reveal trends you can act on. Avoid obsessing over any single number. Look for sustained improvement across several indicators because resilience is multi-dimensional. Include variety to protect both interest and adaptation. Alternate between different types of training such as mobility, strength, and cardio while preserving the core consistency. Variety reduces boredom and balances development, so weaknesses do not become lasting liabilities. Periodic changes also rejuvenate motivation and allow different systems to recover while others work. When constraints appear, adapt quickly rather than abandoning the plan. Travel, illness, and busy periods are normal. Have abbreviated versions of your workouts ready that require minimal time and no equipment. A 10-minute bodyweight sequence preserves momentum and signals to your nervous system that training continues even when conditions are imperfect. These abbreviated sessions keep the habit alive and reduce the psychological barrier to resuming full sessions. Use goal setting that connects to capability rather than appearance. Instead of aiming to look a certain way, set performance targets such as carrying heavy grocery bags without strain, completing a 3-kilometer walk without breathlessness, or performing a set number of push-ups with good form. Performance goals are empowering because they translate directly into daily life improvements that matter most when challenges arise. Mindset matters in training. Treat setbacks such as missed workouts or temporary plateaus as information, not moral failure. Analyze causes and make small corrective adjustments. Approach the process with patience and discipline. Endurance in training mirrors resilience in other areas of life because both require tolerance for temporary discomfort and faith in gradual adaptation. Build social supports even if you prefer individual work. Training with a partner or joining a small group occasionally increases adherence and injects gentle accountability. When others witness your consistency, you gain external reinforcement that complements internal commitment. Choose companions who respect discipline and who encourage progress rather than perfection. Practical tools reduce friction for long-term consistency. Invest in a simple pair of shoes, a mat, and a reusable water bottle. Use a minimal training log or an app to record sessions and track recovery markers. These low-friction investments remove excuses about equipment and signal that you take training seriously. Schedule periodic reassessments to refine the plan. Every 6 to 12 weeks, evaluate progress and adjust volume, intensity, and focus. Periodization prevents burnout because it alternates phases of stress and recovery, and it aligns training with life priorities and events. Strategic planning preserves gains and accelerates sustainable growth. Listen to your body with curiosity rather than fear. Distinguish between discomfort that indicates growth and pain that signals harm. When in doubt, scale back and seek guidance rather than pushing blindly. Long-term resilience requires prudent judgment in how stress is applied and how recovery is allowed. Celebrate functional milestones to reinforce the habit loop. Notice when mundane tasks become easier, when strength increases or endurance grows. Acknowledge these changes privately or with a training partner. These small victories maintain motivation between larger goals and remind you that consistent movement delivers real tangible improvements. Teach the value of movement to others in your circle by modeling steady behavior. When family and friends observe that daily movement supports calm focus and better sleep, they are more likely to mirror similar practices. Influence is slow but real, and spreading resilience through example strengthens relationships and creates shared health benefits. Remember that the purpose of training extends beyond the body. It builds patience, grit, and the capacity to handle discomfort without collapsing. These qualities translate directly into problem-solving, persistence, and emotional steadiness, which are indispensable in a life where external help may be rare. A trained body supports a trained mind. Start simply, schedule consistently, and protect the practice from becoming optional. The habit of movement will pay compound dividends across every domain of life, because resilience built through consistent physical effort stabilizes mood, improves cognition, and increases the margin for error when unexpected demands arise. Keep the plan flexible, adapt when necessary, and preserve continuity, because long-term capacity is non-negotiable when the goal is to remain capable and composed under pressure. Chapter 9c. Cultivate financial independence by saving wisely and earning more. Money affects your confidence more than you realize. When your finances are unstable, your decisions become emotional. You hesitate. You compromise. You tolerate situations you should walk away from. Financial independence is not about showing off wealth. It is about creating stability so strong that fear no longer controls your choices. It is about building a life where you decide based on vision, not desperation. The first step toward financial independence is clarity. You must know exactly how much you earn, how much you spend, and where every portion goes. Most people avoid this because they are afraid of what they will see. But numbers are neutral. They do not judge you. They simply tell the truth. When you face the truth, you gain power. Track your income. Track your expenses. Study your patterns. Awareness alone can transform careless spending into intentional decision-making. Saving wisely does not mean depriving yourself of everything enjoyable. It means separating wants from long-term priorities. It means understanding that every small purchase carries an opportunity cost. That coffee, that impulsive online order, that unnecessary upgrade, they may seem harmless in isolation, but repeated over months and years, they shape your future. Discipline in small decisions builds freedom in large ones. Create a system that makes saving automatic. Do not rely on motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Instead, set up a structure where a portion of your income moves into savings the moment you receive it. Treat savings as a non-negotiable expense. You would not skip paying your rent or electricity. Give your future the same level of commitment. Even if the amount is small, consistency matters more than size. Small deposits repeated over time build momentum. An emergency fund is your first shield. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected expenses will appear. Without preparation, they push you into debt. With preparation, they become manageable. Aim to build a cushion that covers several months of essential expenses. This fund does not exist to earn prestige. It exists to protect your peace. When you know you can handle a setback, your anxiety decreases. Your mind becomes clearer. Your decisions improve. Avoid debt that does not create value. Borrowing for education, skill development, or a productive asset can sometimes be strategic. Borrowing for status or temporary pleasure weakens your foundation. High-interest debt quietly steals your future income. It forces you to work for yesterday's choices. If you carry such debt, prioritize eliminating it systematically. Focus on one balance at a time. Direct extra payments toward it. Each cleared obligation increases your control. Financial independence is not built by saving alone. Income growth accelerates progress. You must think beyond your current paycheck. Ask yourself how you can become more valuable in the marketplace. Value is rewarded. Develop skills that solve real problems. Improve communication. Strengthen technical ability. Learn how to manage projects. The more useful you become, the more opportunities appear. Do not wait for permission to expand your earning potential. Explore side projects. Offer services. Learn digital skills. Study trends. The modern world offers countless platforms for those willing to learn and adapt. Income diversification reduces vulnerability. If one source weakens, others sustain you. This flexibility builds resilience. It ensures that a single disruption does not destabilize your entire life. Investing is another essential pillar. Money that sits idle loses power over time. Inflation quietly reduces its value. Educate yourself about basic investment principles. Understand risk. Understand time horizons. Focus on long-term growth rather than short-term excitement. Speculation driven by emotion can destroy years of progress. Patience, on the other hand, allows compounding to work in your favor. Compounding is powerful because it rewards consistency and time. Protect your financial growth by managing lifestyle inflation. As income increases, the temptation to upgrade everything becomes strong. A better car, a larger home, more expensive habits. There is nothing wrong with enjoying improvement, but if expenses rise as quickly as earnings, independence remains distant. Maintain a gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is the space where freedom grows. Financial independence also requires emotional discipline. Fear can prevent wise investments. Greed can push reckless decisions. Comparison can distort priorities. Social media often presents curated images of success. Do not measure your journey against illusions. Focus on your plan. Define what independence means to you. For some, it is retiring early. For others, it is the ability to choose meaningful work without financial pressure. Your definition must align with your values. Teach yourself to delay gratification. The ability to wait strengthens financial outcomes. When you resist immediate pleasure for long-term benefit, you train your character. That strength carries into other areas of life. It improves health choices. It strengthens relationships. It enhances career decisions. Financial discipline is not isolated. It shapes your identity. Review your financial strategy regularly. Set specific targets. Measure progress. Adjust when necessary. Circumstances change. Markets fluctuate. Opportunities evolve. Rigidity can be dangerous. Adaptation ensures sustainability, but adaptation must be informed, not reactive. Make changes based on data and thoughtful evaluation, not panic. Surround yourself with people who respect responsible financial behavior. Conversations influence mindset. If your environment glorifies reckless spending, pressure builds. If your circle values growth and planning, accountability increases. Seek mentors who have achieved the stability you desire. Study their habits. Learn from their mistakes. Success leaves patterns. Generosity also plays a role in financial independence. When you give intentionally, you strengthen your relationship with money. You shift from scarcity to contribution. However, generosity must be structured. Give from strength, not from impulse. Sustainable giving requires stable foundations. Remember that financial independence is a long journey. Quick schemes promising instant wealth often lead to loss. Sustainable progress requires patience. There will be periods of slow growth. There will be setbacks. The key is persistence. Continue saving, continue learning, continue improving your earning capacity. Over time, small consistent actions produce significant results. Imagine waking up knowing that your essential expenses are covered by your assets and investments. Imagine making career decisions based on passion rather than survival. Imagine supporting your family without constant stress. This vision is not fantasy. It is the product of deliberate planning and disciplined execution. Start where you are. Use what you have. Improve gradually. Financial independence is not reserved for the privileged. It is built by those who choose responsibility over impulse, education over ignorance, and patience over excitement. When you commit to saving wisely and earning more with intention, you build more than wealth. You build security. You build confidence. You build a life directed by choice rather than circumstance. Chapter 100: Sustain momentum through accountability systems and measurable checkpoints. Momentum feels powerful when it begins. The first few days of a new commitment are charged with energy. You feel focused. You feel determined. You imagine the outcome clearly. But momentum is fragile. Without structure, it fades quietly. Discipline weakens. Distractions return. Old habits resurface. That is why accountability and measurable checkpoints are not optional. They are the architecture that protects progress when motivation fluctuates. Accountability begins with honesty. You must define what you are responsible for and what success actually looks like. Vague intentions produce vague results. If you say you want to improve, that statement carries no weight. Improvement in what area? By how much? Within what time frame? Clarity converts desire into direction. When direction is defined, tracking becomes possible. Measurement transforms ambition into evidence. Numbers do not lie. They reveal patterns that emotion hides. If you are building a business, track revenue, leads, conversion rates. If you are improving health, measure workouts completed, hours of sleep, consistency of movement. If you are strengthening skills, record hours practiced and milestones achieved. What gets measured gets managed. What remains unmeasured drifts into assumption. Create checkpoints that force reflection. Daily check-ins keep attention sharp. Weekly reviews reveal trends. Monthly evaluations provide perspective. These checkpoints are not moments for self-criticism. They are opportunities for assessment. Ask direct questions. Did I execute the plan? Where did I hesitate? What obstacles appeared? What adjustments are necessary? Reflection prevents repetition of the same mistakes. External accountability strengthens internal discipline. When you report progress to someone you respect, your standards rise. It could be a mentor, a colleague, a coach, or a trusted friend. The act of explaining your actions creates awareness. It exposes excuses. It highlights gaps between intention and execution. Choose someone who values growth and will challenge you honestly. Comfort rarely produces excellence. Public commitments can also reinforce consistency. Sharing a goal responsibly increases pressure to follow through. However, be selective. Do not announce plans for validation. Announce them to create responsibility. The purpose is not applause. The purpose is alignment between your words and your behavior. Design systems that reduce reliance on memory. Use calendars. Use reminders. Use written trackers. A written goal carries more authority than a mental one. When progress is visible, it becomes tangible. Visual evidence of advancement builds confidence. Seeing a streak of completed tasks motivates continuation. It becomes harder to break a chain you have built with effort. Accountability also requires consequences. If there is no cost for inaction, standards decline. Consequences do not need to be extreme. They simply need to create awareness. If you miss a target, identify the reason and adjust immediately. If you delay execution, compensate by increasing focus the next day. The goal is not punishment. The goal is correction. At the same time, reward matters. Celebrate milestones thoughtfully. Recognition reinforces behavior. When you achieve a measurable target, acknowledge the discipline it required. Appreciation strengthens identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. That identity becomes powerful fuel. Momentum thrives on consistency, not intensity. Many people start with aggressive expectations and burn out quickly. Sustainable systems favor realistic pacing. Break large objectives into manageable segments. Each completed segment provides psychological reinforcement. Progress becomes visible rather than distant. Track leading indicators, not only outcomes. Outcomes often lag behind effort. If you only measure final results, discouragement can grow during slow periods. Instead, focus on daily actions within your control. Sales may fluctuate, but outreach efforts can remain consistent. Physical transformation may take time, but workouts completed are measurable today. Leading indicators maintain motivation when outcomes are delayed. Technology can enhance accountability if used wisely. Productivity tools, habit tracking applications, and digital dashboards provide structure. However, tools are only effective when used consistently. Do not become distracted by constantly switching systems. Choose one method and master it. Simplicity sustains focus. Self-accountability requires integrity. Integrity means doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Private discipline shapes public results. There will be days when excuses feel justified. Fatigue will appear. Doubt will whisper. On those days, your system becomes your anchor. You follow the structure because it exists, not because you feel inspired. Expect resistance. Growth always encounters friction. When progress accelerates, challenges often increase. That is not a sign to retreat. It is a signal to strengthen structure. Revisit your checkpoints. Recommit to your standards. Momentum is preserved through deliberate correction, not emotional reaction. Document your journey. Journaling provides insight into patterns over time. When you record thoughts, actions, and outcomes, you build a personal database of experience. Reviewing past entries reveals how far you have come. It also exposes recurring weaknesses that require attention. Awareness eliminates denial. Surround your environment with reminders of your commitments. Visual cues influence behavior. A written statement placed where you see it daily reinforces focus. A progress chart displayed in your workspace reminds you of responsibility. Environment shapes action more than willpower alone. Be willing to adjust strategies without abandoning goals. Sometimes the path requires refinement. If a method consistently produces poor results, analyze and adapt. Accountability does not mean stubbornness. It means responsibility for outcomes. Flexibility combined with commitment creates durability. Long-term momentum is sustained by identity alignment. When you see yourself as disciplined, responsible, and growth-oriented, your actions follow that belief. Accountability systems reinforce identity. Each completed checkpoint strengthens the narrative that you are reliable. Each review session sharpens self-respect. There will be seasons of rapid progress and seasons of slow movement. Do not misinterpret slower periods as failure. Use them to refine systems, improve efficiency, deepen skill. Momentum is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet and steady. Quiet progress often lasts longer. Ultimately, accountability is an act of self-respect. It is a declaration that your goals deserve structure. It is proof that you value your potential enough to measure it. When you combine measurable checkpoints with consistent review and honest evaluation, you create a feedback loop that strengthens over time. Sustained momentum is not accidental. It is engineered. It is built through clarity, tracking, reflection, correction, and persistence. When your systems are strong, motivation becomes secondary. Progress continues because structure carries it forward. And as weeks turn into months and months into years, those structured efforts compound into results that once seemed distant.